All right, so are you ready to jump into this whole world of selling on Teachers Pay Teachers? You guys have given us so much to dig into, and I think it'll be really fun.
It's a lot. I mean, it really is fascinating how much there is to learn when it comes to like the business side of TPT.
Yeah, exactly. So to get us started, we're going to be checking out this YouTube video. It's called 10 Things I Wish I Knew Before I Started Selling on Teachers Pay Teachers.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. It's from Pocket Full of Primary Right.
Yep. And the creator, Michelle, she's got tons of experience selling on TPT. So she really breaks down all the things that most people don't realize when they're first starting out.
Which is so helpful, right?
Yeah,
Because you can kind of avoid those like early mistakes and really set yourself up for success.
totally. So the first thing she talks about, and this is a big one, is that TPT requires you to have a free product in your store before you can list any paid products.
Wait, really? Like you had to have a freebie before you can even like put your paid stuff up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one of those hidden rules that can really trip people up. Oh, I can totally see that. Imagine you're all excited, you've created this amazing resource, you're ready to hit publish, and boom, TPT's like, hold up, where's your freebie?
Exactly. And then you're scrambling to put something together, which
Yeah.
is exactly what happened to Michelle. She learned that lesson the hard way.
So what are some good ways to tackle that requirement?
Well, Michelle suggests making the freebie like a sample of your paid product. So let's say you've created a set of math centers. Your freebie could be one of those centers, giving teachers a taste of what's in the full package.
Ooh, that's smart. So you're kind of enticing them with a little sneak peek.
Exactly. And you're not having to create a whole new product from scratch.
I like that. What are some other options?
You could also offer like a coordinating activity or like a non-editable version of your paid product.
So if you're selling editable classroom labels,
Hmm.
your freebie could be a pre-made set with, fixed text and colors.
Exactly. Gives potential buyers something they can actually use, but still encourages them to buy the like full customizable version.
So sneaky
Uh-huh.
and effective. Right. Okay, here's where it gets even sneakier. Michelle says you can actually include a page in your freebie promoting the paid product.
Wait, what? Like you can put a little ad in there?
Yeah. It's a bit tricky at first because you can't link directly until you have that paid product live. But once it's up, you can go back and edit the freebie to add the link.
Oh, that's so smart. It's like planting a little seed in that freebie, leading them right to your paid product.
Exactly. So yeah, freebie first, then paid products. It's like the golden rule of TPT, and it's something you definitely want to be aware of from the get-go.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got our freebie figured out. Now let's talk about like the actual time commitment of creating these resources, because I feel like that can be a bit of a shock to people.
Oh, for sure. Michelle is very clear about this. It takes way longer to create something for sale than it does to make something for your own classroom. She estimates 3 to 5 times longer.
Whoa. Okay, so that's a significant difference. Why is that?
Well, you're not just creating the teaching materials themselves.
Right.
You need answer keys, you need detailed lesson plans, clear instructions, engaging examples.
Oh, right. And then there's all the marketing stuff too, like the cover images and thumbnails and product previews.
Exactly. It's like creating this whole mini course just to support your product.
So how does she manage all of that?
Yeah.
Like without losing her mind?
Well, she has some great tips.
Mm.
One is to create a product creation checklist.
So it's like you're not forgetting any of those crucial steps. You've got your little roadmap.
Yeah, exactly. And she also recommends creating templates for things like directions pages, cover images, and thumbnails.
Oh, that's a great idea. So you're not starting from scratch every single time, and it keeps your branding consistent.
Yep. And for those of us who like to get stuck in the never-ending tweaking cycle, Michelle has another brilliant tip. Set deadlines and reward yourself for hitting them.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So you don't get lost in trying to make it perfect. You just get it done.
Right. And those little rewards, even if it's just a fancy coffee, can be really motivating.
Totally. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that can be a bit intimidating for new sellers. Commercial licenses.
Ooh, yeah, those can be tricky. So basically, you need these for any elements that you didn't personally create and are using in your products, like fonts, clip art images, that kind of thing.
Right. Because those things are often protected by copyright.
Exactly. Michelle actually compares commercial licenses to a driver's license. You need to have it, but you don't necessarily have to display it everywhere you go.
Okay. I like that analogy. It's about having that proof of permission just in case.
So how do you know if you need a commercial license for something?
Well, it depends on where you got the element.
Hmm.
For example, most clip art and fonts you buy on TPT already include a commercial license.
Oh, that's good to know. So you're already covered.
But she does say it's always a good idea to like double check the product description, just to be absolutely sure.
Right. Now, if you're getting your fonts or clip art from external websites, you might need to purchase a separate commercial license.
Ooh, that's where it gets a little trickier.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be diligent about checking those licensing terms for each individual resource.
Okay, good to know. Are there any like exceptions to that?
Actually, yeah, Google Fonts are free to use commercially, so you don't need any additional licenses for those.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially for people who like to work within Google Slides.
All right, you ready to venture into the legal landmine zone?
Uh-oh. What are we talking about now?
Copyright and trademark. But don't worry, with a little knowledge, you can navigate this without blowing yourself up.
Okay, good. I'm ready to learn how not to get sued.
Well, first, let's break down the difference between copyright and trademark. Copyright protects original works of authorship, like a curriculum or a novel.
So like Michelle gives the example of everyday mathematics, which is that popular math curriculum.
Right.
You can't just create something that like uses their materials without permission.
Exactly. And then you have trademarks, which protect brand identifiers. So things like logos, slogans, even distinctive words like Pepsi are trademarked.
So copyright is about protecting the expression of an idea, and trademark is about protecting the brand or identity.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Now, how do you know if something is copyrighted or trademarked? Michelle's advice. When in doubt, search. Trademark databases are your friend.
So don't just assume something's okay to use. Just because you see it on TPT doesn't mean it's legal.
And what happens if you do violate copyright or trademark? Well, you could face a range of repercussions, from TPT takedowns and copyright strikes to potential legal action. TPT takes these things very seriously, so it's not something to mess around with.
So like you can't create products that use characters from Harry Potter or incorporate elements from copyrighted curriculums like that everyday math we talked about.
Nope, not without permission from the copyright holder. And, obviously it's always a good idea to err on the side of caution.
All right, so we've covered freebies, time commitment, commercial licenses, copyright, and trademark. What else do we need to know before we launch our TPT empires?
Well, how about the topic that makes most people cringe? Taxes.
Oh yeah, can't forget about those. Even after 7 years on TPT, Michelle admits that tax season still fills her with dread.
It's the part no one likes to talk about, but it's important.
For sure. So what are some like key takeaways when it comes to taxes for TPT sellers?
Well, Michelle's number one piece of advice: get a CPA. It's worth the investment to have a professional guide you through all the complexities of business taxes.
Yeah, because tax laws can be so confusing. And the last thing you want is to get in trouble with the IRS.
Exactly. A CPA can help you determine the best business structure for your situation, like whether to form an LLC or get an EIN. And they can also help you make sure you're taking advantage of all the deductions you're entitled to.
So basically, they can save you a lot of headaches and potentially a lot of money.
Totally. And Michelle also highlights that setting up as a legitimate business might involve steps like actually forming that LLC, getting an EIN, paying estimated taxes throughout the year.
So it's not just about like throwing some stuff up on TPT and hoping for the best. You really have to treat it like a real business.
Right. And that can feel like a lot, especially when you're first starting out. But it's important to set yourself up for success from the beginning.
Okay, so we've got the legal and financial stuff down. Now let's talk about like how to actually make it big on TPT. What are some of the secrets to success?
Well, Michelle emphasizes the importance of finding your niche.
Finding your niche.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard that before, but what does that actually mean for TPT sellers?
It means specializing in a particular type of resource or grade level. You become like the go-to person for a specific need in the TPT marketplace.
Oh, I see. So instead of trying to create everything for everyone, you focus on what you do best and what you're truly passionate about.
Exactly. And Michelle's a great example of this. When she first started her TPT store, she had a little bit of everything. It was all over the place.
So she was still trying to figure out her place in the TPT world.
Right. But as she started tracking her sales data, she noticed that her customizable templates were consistently her best sellers.
So the data helped her figure out what buyers were responding to, and then that guided her future product creation.
Exactly. It's like the TPT marketplace was telling her, this is what you're good at, Michelle. Focus on this. And that's exactly what she did. Eventually, she became known as the template guru.
No, that's so cool. So her advice is to pay close attention to your product statistics on TPT. See what's resonating with buyers and use that data to guide you.
Yeah, it's all about letting the data inform your decisions. Okay, now let's talk about something that I know I personally struggle with: perfectionism.
Ooh, yeah, that could be a tough one,
Mm.
especially for teachers. We're so used to like striving for excellence in everything we do.
Right, and Michelle acknowledges this. She says a product will never be perfect. No matter how much time you spend tweaking and refining, you'll always find something you want to change after you hit publish.
Ugh, it's so true. Like that feeling when you turn in a paper and then you're like, oh, I should have added this, I should have changed that.
Exactly. So how do we combat this perfectionism monster?
Well, Michelle suggests shifting our mindset from perfection to progress. Focus on creating high-quality resources. But remember, you can always edit and update them later.
So done is better than perfect.
Exactly. Getting your product out there is the first step. Then you can gather feedback, make improvements, continue to refine it over time.
I love that. And Michelle actually has some tips for managing updates. She says to let buyers know when you update a product so they can re-download the improved version.
Well, that's a good idea. So they're always getting the most up-to-date version.
And she even suggests using update announcements as an opportunity to raise prices if you've added significant value.
Oh, that's smart. So you're rewarding yourself for putting in the extra work.
Exactly. And don't forget to use social media to spread the word about those updates and any price increases. It's a great way to keep your audience informed and engaged.
Social media is such a powerful tool. Okay, so we've talked about product creation. Now let's talk about what happens after you hit publish. What about customer service?
Oh yeah, get ready for this. The customer service flood. Michelle warns that underestimating this is a common mistake for new sellers.
Oh, I can see that. You're so focused on creating the product that you forget about all the questions and support that might come after.
And those questions can come from everywhere. Product Q&As, emails, Instagram, Facebook. You might even get messages on your personal pages.
Oh, wow. So it's important to set some boundaries and establish clear channels for communication.
Michelle says that balancing customer service with teaching full-time and creating content was a major challenge for her, especially in the early years.
It's a lot to juggle.
Ugh.
So what are some tips for making it more manageable?
Well, she recommends including a really thorough FAQ section in your product directions to address those common questions up front.
FAQs are a lifesaver. Saves you from answering the same questions over and over again.
She also suggests creating template responses for those recurring questions so you can be quick and consistent with your answers.
Oh, that's a great time saver.
And finally, she recommends scheduling dedicated time each week for email and message management. This helps you stay on top of things and prevent them from piling up.
So it's all about having a system in place to keep things organized and efficient.
Exactly. So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
Seriously. From the unexpected free product requirement to the time commitment to the legal stuff and even taxes.
We've really dug deep, haven't we?
And we're not done yet. There's still so much more to explore.
In the next part, we're going to shift gears a bit and talk about selling digital products beyond PPT. Like what other platforms and opportunities are out there?
Ooh, that's going to be exciting. I'm ready to expand my digital product empire.
Me too. So stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into the world of digital product creation.
Can't wait.
Okay, so you're feeling pretty good about tackling TPT.
Yeah.
But like, what if you want to expand your reach even further? That's where things get really interesting.
Right. And what's fascinating here is that so many of the principles that Michelle talks about in her video, they apply to like selling digital products anywhere, not just on TPT.
It's true. It's like she's giving us the building blocks for a whole digital product empire.
Exactly. So once you have those like foundational pieces in place, you can start exploring other platforms and opportunities.
So let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. What are some other platforms where educators could be selling their amazing creations?
One that comes to mind right away is Etsy. You know, it's known for that like handmade, crafty vibe, which a lot of teachers gravitate towards.
Oh, totally. And while Etsy is often associated with like physical goods, they actually have a thriving market for digital downloads.
Including educational resources.
So you could be selling those adorable classroom decor printables right alongside those hand-knitted scarves and personalized teacher mugs.
Exactly. And Etsy's search algorithm can be a bit more forgiving for new sellers compared to TPT.
Oh, that's good to know, because TPT tends to favor products with lots of reviews and like an established sales history.
Right. So it could be a good place to kind of test the waters and see what kind of response you get before diving headfirst into the TPT ocean.
That's a good point. Now, what if you're looking for platforms specifically designed for educational content?
Well, there are a few others worth exploring.
Like Boom Learning. I've heard a lot of teachers raving about Boom cards.
Yeah, Boom Learning is super popular. It lets you create those interactive self-grading activities.
And it's known for being really user-friendly, right?
Yeah.
Especially for younger learners.
So for those of us who are maybe a little less tech savvy, Boom Learning could be a good option because it provides those like built-in interactive elements without requiring a lot of coding or technical expertise.
Exactly. And Boom cards have become incredibly popular in recent years, especially for distance learning and technology integration.
Okay, but what if you have something more substantial to offer, like a whole curriculum or like a specialized program?
Then platforms like Teachery and Thinkific might be a better fit.
What are those like?
They're designed for creating and selling online courses. So they offer more structure and flexibility for delivering like comprehensive learning experiences. So if you've got like a passion project, like a course on teaching writing through graphic novels or, a workshop on incorporating mindfulness into the classroom, these platforms give you the tools to like package and deliver that content in a really professional and engaging way.
Exactly. And they often include features for like student interaction, progress, tracking, even certification,
Mm.
which can add a lot of value to your offering.
Now, I'm curious about Shopify. Isn't that more for like e-commerce in general, like selling physical products?
You're right. Shopify is a very versatile e-commerce platform,
Yeah.
but it can absolutely be used to sell digital products as well.
So if you're thinking long term and want to build a more robust brand presence beyond just educational resources, Shopify could be a good option.
Exactly. It gives you a lot of control over your branding, your pricing, your customer experience. You can create a website that truly reflects your unique style and vision.
So it's like taking your digital product business to the next level, creating a central hub where people can find all your amazing creations.
Precisely. And remember, the choice of platform really comes down to what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and what your overall business goals are.
It's about finding the platform that like best aligns with your vision and supports your journey as a digital product creator.
And speaking of vision, Michelle's experience really highlights the importance of finding your unique style and voice as a creator. And this applies to any platform you choose.
Yeah, it's like those teachers who have that certain something in their classroom, that spark that makes their lessons unforgettable. How do you translate that to the digital world?
It starts with self-reflection. What are you passionate about? What are your strengths? What sets you apart from other educators?
It's about tapping into that inner creative magic that makes you, well, you.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, and find what feels genuinely authentic to your teaching style and your personality.
Yeah.
And once you've identified that unique style, you can infuse it into like every aspect of your product creation.
Like what kinds of things?
I mean, everything. From the colors and fonts you choose to the tone and voice you use in your descriptions.
So it's like creating a brand personality for your educational resources.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of storytelling. People connect with stories. So sharing your experiences, your inspirations, your why can make your products more relatable and memorable.
So instead of just saying, here's a worksheet on fractions, you're saying, here's a worksheet on fractions that I created because I saw my students struggling with this concept, and I wanted to find a way to make it fun and engaging for them.
Exactly. You're bringing a human element to your products, making them more than just like faceless downloads.
Okay, let's get practical for a moment. Michelle mentions using templates to streamline her workflow. Are there other tools or strategies that can help us create these digital products without pulling all-nighters?
Oh, absolutely. There's a whole world of amazing tools out there to support digital product creation.
Like what?
Well, for design, you have options like Canva, which is incredibly user-friendly.
Yeah, Canva is great for creating those like eye-catching graphics worksheets, social media posts, all with a drag and drop interface that makes design accessible to everyone.
Right. And if you're looking for something more robust with like advanced features and customization options, Adobe Creative Suite is the industry standard.
Oh yeah, Adobe. That's like the big leagues.
It is, but it has a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah.
Now, for creating those interactive activities like the Boom cards we talked about earlier, Boom Learning has its own built-in creation tools that are very intuitive.
So you don't need to be a coding wizard to create those engaging self-grading activities.
Not at all. And if you're ready to level up your interactivity game, there are dedicated software programs like Articulate Storyline and Adobe Captivate.
Those sound intense.
They are a bit more advanced,
Yeah.
like something you'd use to create online training modules or educational games. But they offer incredible possibilities for creating immersive learning experiences.
And for those online courses we mentioned, platforms like Teachery and Thinkific usually have their own built-in course creation interfaces that are designed to be streamlined and easy to use.
Right. And the beauty of these platforms is that they let you integrate different types of media. You're not limited to just text. You can add videos, Audio quizzes, downloadable resources, all sorts of interactive elements.
So you can really create a multimedia extravaganza for your students.
Exactly. And many of these platforms offer integrations with other tools, like email marketing services and payment processors, which can further streamline your workflow and automate many of those tedious behind-the-scenes tasks.
So it's like building a digital product creation dream team, with each tool playing its part to help you create, market, and sell your resources efficiently.
It's all about finding the tools that fit your needs and preferences and using them to create the best possible experience for your buyers.
But tools and technology aside, one of the most valuable resources for digital product creators is community.
Absolutely. Connecting with other creators can provide support, inspiration, practical advice that you won't find in any textbook or tutorial.
It's like having a tribe of like-minded individuals who understand the unique joys and challenges of this entrepreneurial path.
And there are tons of online groups, forums, social media communities specifically for digital product creators, especially those in the education niche.
So you can connect with people who are going through the same things you are. Share your struggles, celebrate your wins, learn from each other's experiences.
It's amazing how the internet can bring people together like that.
Okay, so we've talked about platforms, tools, community. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, pricing. How do you decide how much to charge for your digital products?
Pricing is always a tricky balance. You want to value your time and expertise, but you also want to make your products accessible to your target audience.
It's like finding that sweet spot where buyers feel like they're getting a great deal and you feel like you're being fairly compensated for your hard work.
Exactly. And there are a few key factors to consider when setting your prices. First, think about the time and effort you've invested in creating the product. How many hours did you spend researching, designing, writing, editing, formatting?
That's your time investment, and it's valuable.
Next, consider the value your product provides to buyers. What problems does it solve? How will it make their lives easier or their teaching more effective?
Think about the transformation you're offering. What will buyers gain from using your product?
And finally, research the prices of comparable products on the market. What are other creators charging for similar resources? This gives you a benchmark to work with.
So it's like doing a little market research to see what the going rate is for your type of product.
Exactly. And remember, you can always adjust your prices over time. If you're constantly updating and improving your products, adding new features, gathering positive feedback, you can justify charging a higher price that reflects the increased value you're offering.
It's about demonstrating that you're committed to providing high-quality, valuable resources that are worth the investment.
Okay, let's shift gears again and talk about marketing. We already touched on the importance of social media. But what are some other effective strategies for getting your digital products in front of the right people?
Because, we can create the most amazing resources in the world, but if no one knows about them, it's all for nothing.
That's so true. Marketing is essential for any business, especially in the crowded online marketplace. Social media is a great starting point, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
So what are some other pieces we can add to create a complete marketing masterpiece?
Well, content marketing is incredibly powerful. This involves creating valuable content like blog posts, videos, or even podcasts like this one that provide information, insights, or entertainment related to your niche.
So instead of just shouting, "Buy my product," you're offering something helpful or interesting that draws people in and positions you as an expert in your field.
Exactly. And once you've built that trust and authority, people are much more likely to be interested in your products.
Okay, that makes sense. What about email marketing? Isn't that a bit old school?
Email marketing might seem old school, but it's still one of the most effective ways to nurture relationships with potential buyers and promote your products to people who are already interested in what you have to offer.
So it's like having a direct line to your most engaged audience.
Exactly. And unlike social media, where you're at the mercy of algorithms and changing trends, you own your email list. You have complete control over how and when you communicate with your subscribers.
And Michelle talked about this too, right? The importance of building an email list. Because social media platforms can vanish overnight and you don't want to lose all those connections you've worked so hard to build.
Exactly. Your email list is a valuable asset that you can take with you wherever you go.
What about paid advertising? Is that something we should be considering?
Paid advertising can be an effective way to reach a wider audience and get your products in front of people who might not otherwise find you. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest offer various advertising options that can be targeted to specific demographics and interests.
So if I know my ideal buyer is a third-grade teacher who loves using technology in the classroom, I can create an ad that specifically targets that group.
Exactly. And you can track the performance of your ads to see what's working and what's not, allowing you to refine your strategy over time.
So it's not just about like throwing money at ads and hoping for the best. It's about being strategic and using data to guide your decisions.
Exactly. And remember, you don't need a huge budget to get started with paid advertising. You can start small and gradually increase your spending as you gain more confidence and see positive results.
All right, let's talk about something that I think often gets overlooked in the digital product world: customer service.
Yeah, Michelle really emphasized this in her video. And it's something that can truly set you apart from the competition.
You know, it's easy to think that because we're selling digital products, there's no need for human interaction, but that's not true at all.
Providing excellent customer service is crucial for building trust, loyalty, positive word of mouth. Even though you're not interacting face-to-face, you can still create a positive experience through prompt and helpful communication.
So it's about responding to inquiries promptly, addressing concerns thoughtfully, and even going above and beyond to resolve issues.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Every customer interaction is an opportunity to build a relationship and create a raving fan who will recommend your products to others.
Speaking of building relationships, let's talk about the mindset shift that's often required when transitioning from being a classroom teacher to a digital product creator.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one. It's a journey of self-discovery and professional growth